The Johns Hopkins University says the death toll from the coronavirus in the United States is now higher than that of China, meaning there's a reasonably good chance the US will face a second wave of the pandemic later this year. The US reports a death toll of 3,415 compared to China's 3,309. Here's Simon Pusey with Around the World in 5.
Hello and good evening from the Channel studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. The US President Donald Trump has said America will be in a very good shape in terms of the number of ventilators available by the time the coronavirus outbreak peaks. The president said at least 10 US companies were now making the medical devices and some might be exported. The US has more than 163,000 confirmed virus cases and over 3,000 deaths. On Monday, officials announced 540 new deaths in a 24-hour period, the deadliest day yet in the country.
I want to have our country be calm and strong and fight and win, and it will go away. And it is incredible the job that all of these people are doing, putting them all together, the job that they're doing. I am very proud of the job they're doing, that Mike Pence is doing, that the task force has done, that Honeywell and Procter & Gamble and Mike and all of these people have done.
The top of Rome's presidential palace was lit in the colours of the tricolour flag to show solidarity with the country. It comes as the lockdown, originally due to end on Friday, is extended by at least until the Easter season in April. Italy, which is the world's hardest hit country in terms of the number of deaths and accounts for more than a third of all global fatalities, on Monday saw its total death tally rise to 11,591 since the outbreak emerged. An investigation has been launched after a group of migrant workers were filmed being doused in a chemical solution by Indian officials. They are among millions who have returned to their home villages amid a nationwide 3-week lockdown. The video, which has been viewed nearly 400,000 times after it was uploaded by a Times of India journalist, shows the group squatting on the ground while medical and fire department officials sprayed them with chemical solution. Bareilly's district magistrate said the video had been investigated, adding that the affected persons are being treated under the supervision of the Chief Minister's office. Jacques Joachim Yombi Opango has died in Paris from complications related to coronavirus. He was 81 years old. His family said he had been ill before contracting the virus. Mr. Yombi Opango led Congo-Brazzaville from 1977 until he was toppled in 1979 by the country's current leader. He spent several years in prison before multi-party democracy was introduced in 1991 and served as Prime Minister until civil war broke out in 1997. He went into exile in France before being allowed to return home 10 years later. There's been widespread international criticism after Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban secured the right to rule by decree when his Fidesz party passed a law in Parliament granting him open-ended extra powers to fight the coronavirus outbreak. The legislation extended a state of emergency, which has triggered criticism from opposition parties, human rights groups and the Council of Europe, Europe's main rights forum, as it contains no time frame. It also imposes jail time of up to 5 years on those hindering measures aimed at containing the spread of the virus and those spreading false information related to the crisis. Rights groups said it could be used to silence journalists. A massive forest fire in southwestern China has killed 19 people, that's according to state media. 18 firefighters and a local guide were confirmed dead from a group of 21 firefighters who went to fight the blaze that had spread over more than 1,000 hectares of land near Xichang, a city in Sichuan province. According to local reports, the fire started on a farm on Monday afternoon and quickly spread to nearby mountains due to strong winds. American Airlines has confirmed it will seek $12 billion of financial support from the US government because of the impact of coronavirus. Employees were told in an email this would allow us to fly through even the worst of potential future scenarios. It said it would mean no involuntary furloughs or cuts in pay rates or benefits for the next 6 months. Staff will also be offered enhanced voluntary leave and early retirement options. And finally, residents of an English street were determined not to let the coronavirus pandemic ruin their neighbour's milestone birthday on Monday, coming together to hold a socially distant party in his honour.
Nice to have survived 90 years.
Dennis Richmond was planning to hold a party for his 90th birthday until the British government introduced a nationwide lockdown to curb the spread of the virus. His neighbours, armed with banners, musical instruments and drinks, stood in their shared street and their front gardens to wish him a very happy birthday. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.
Thanks a lot, Simon. Let's take a look at some sports news now. Here's Jeffrey Uzomo.
Thanks, Ijoma, and welcome to Sports News. World Football's governing body FIFA is setting up a fund to assist competitions and players that have run into financial difficulty as a result of COVID-19. A number of clubs are feeling the bite of the financial crisis brought on them by the pandemic, with the Premier League sides Newcastle United and Tottenham Hotspur placing some staff on temporary leave. In Spain, La Liga giant Barcelona have agreed to a 70% wage cut for their players, while Scotland, Hearts have also asked their players to take a 50% salary cut. FIFA is now set to dip into its reserves to help those competitions and players, as well as clubs affected. German clubs from the top 2 divisions have ratified a proposal to extend the suspension of matches until at least April the 30th amid the coronavirus outbreak. The German Football League had last week proposed the extension from April the 2nd, with the country still on lockdown to contain the spread of the virus. The extension no doubt will further affect the club's finances, already struggling with the sharp dip in revenue. Last week, Borussia Dortmund, Bayern Munich, RB Leipzig and Bayern Leverkusen came together to create a €20 million solidarity fund to help clubs in the top 2 tiers stave off a potential financial crisis during the pandemic. Tottenham Hotspur chairman Daniel Levy has warned that Jose Mourinho and the club's players will have to do their bit and potentially take pay cuts after over 500 non-playing employees saw wages reduced. Levy said the club intends to make use of the government's temporary relief scheme where appropriate to try and protect jobs with the wage cut applying to the months of April and May as the coronavirus crisis continues. This means that Mourinho having to forego a portion of his £290,000 a week wages while football remains suspended. And that's it on sports at this time. Thank you so much for watching. It's back to you, Joma.
Thanks a lot, Jeffrey. And the main news again. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control today said the confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria rose to 139. 9 patients were discharged as the federal government asked Nigerians to support efforts to stop the spread of the pandemic in the country. Also today, the Lagos State government announced it's set to discharge more COVID-19 patients and that more retired medical personnel have volunteered to join their colleagues on the front line. And the COVID-19 death toll in the US hit over 3,400 today, overtaking that of China. Well, that's the news at 10 tonight. Thanks so much for staying with us. Do stay safe out there. I'm Ijoma Honyato. Good night.